One of the signatories to this statement is Senyio Hosi. He's convener of the group. He's joined us on the line. Senyio, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. The pensioners have been at the forecourt of the ministry, picketing all this while. Is it the case that while they are struggling, asking for their principals to be paid them, you, the individual bondholders, have not been mentioned at all? Nothing has happened so far?
Absolutely not the case. One, let's get a few things right. As a forum or as a group, we consist of different kinds of individual bondholders, including people who are also pensioners. So not just non-pensioners who make our group. We also have pensioners as part of our group. The advocacy has been at different levels. The Pensioners Bondholders Forum, which is a different group, opted to really work and advocate more using the picketing. And I think that is very fair and fine within their rights. And I think their strategy to face off, as it works for them. What we opted to do was to engage with government and develop solutions that can actually resolve this. We've been very, very cooperative with government. We've explored various options, but we partook in the technical committee deliberations. We tabled various recommendations to government. We worked out a modality for the payment of the interest, or what you call the coupons. That was followed, and I think both parties were beneficiaries of it, i.e. the pensioners were beneficiaries of it, the non-pensioners were also beneficiaries of it. That culminated into an arrangement, which is currently the memorandum of understanding that we have with the Ministry of Finance. That sought to achieve a few things. One, resolve or create a balance between government's liquidity challenges and its obligations to its citizens, particularly individuals, and help alleviate the pain, the challenge, the struggles of individuals whose only crime so far has been to trust their government. We agreed on a modality to resolve this, and this was simple. Government was having liquidity challenges because, as you can see, it is having challenges with its treasury bills, and at certain times it's failing. At other times, you also realize that for government to even meet its obligations, it has to increase the interest rate on the treasury bills. That actually increases government debt risk position at any point in time. What we agreed with government was that for all our principals that are due, we convert these to treasury bills, spread over 3 different tenors, one 91 day, one 182, and then the other one 364. That gives government a lot more flexibility. So it was a win-win structure. It wasn't the best of outcomes for us, but something that could also give our country and our government a breathing space to be able to advocate or manage its fiscal reforms as currently structured. These agreements were supposed to be effective 1st of June. As we speak, we have received no memorandum of exchange or exchange offer. There's supposed to be some legal work that has to be done to move this process forward. The implementation has significantly lagged, and there's a lot more uncertainty. And while we do this, people are having real struggles. Sandra, many people have lost their jobs, from the banking crisis to all the challenges with the economic downturn. People have to live on their savings, and access to their savings in the place that was supposed to be the safest today has tended to be otherwise. A state that is supposed to pursue the interests of its people cannot neglect the interests of its people the way that government is currently handling affairs. What is most painful in all this, Sandra, despite this cooperation that we've had, sometimes communication to even tell us where we are and what the next steps are has been found wanting. We had to petition the president for the ministry to act. And we have had good cooperation, I must say, from Honorable Amin Anta. But for some reason, maybe they have been a bit overwhelmed by their engagements with the IMF and the Paris Club to the neglect of we, the citizens, who they're also supposed to take care of. We have had to make this call to opt to start taking stronger social action interventions, not just out of our default choice, because our strategy has been to cooperate with government and come up with a win-win way, but out of it being practically the last option. We've been so reasonable and cooperative. We've not been out there screaming and shouting since we decided to sit on the table with government. We have brought our technical expertise to bear. We have brought our advocacy expertise to support the entire agenda. But we are being paid back in in otherwise insensitive, interventions from government. This kind of neglect, this kind of unresponsiveness is not one that should be of public policy access. And I think government must sit up. We have no option than to really start taking on very strong social action interventions, which are totally unnecessary. There's no necessity in trying to create so much agitation within your public space or within your populace, within your citizenry, only to do what you are supposed to do anyway. Why do presidents have to picket for government to now act and do what it could have done before they picket? You can't be a government just responding to picketing just like that, as if you don't even have an organization and engagement of your own. We should be engaging each other. We should be working and implementing and understanding the agreements we have. And that is all we are asking for. So two things. Government has to pay up the principals outstanding from February 20th. From February 20th, the coupons, I must say, from our engagements and the structure and strategy we put in place with government, they have honored them significantly. A few of them outstanding in June, which is also a breach of the Memorandum of Understanding. We also need to have the legal processes to implement the MOU effective immediately. There's supposed to be an exchange memorandum that's supposed to be issued, sent to us for our review, and everybody assent to it, giving government the right to convert these instruments into treasury bills. Up to date, Sandra, officially no response, no engagement. I don't know who does this and why this should even be done at all. It's very disheartening, very depressing, because this is the state. State supposing to be every day in pursuit of the interests of these people. Fairly, what has been the crime of these people? People are struggling to pay their school fees. Universities are coming back. Secondary schools are going back. People need to fund fees for their wards. Support them. How are they going to survive? People depend on this to take care of their parents. Not every old person in this country gets a pension. People depend on their children. In Ghana, for a long time, our strategy to pension is your own children. So now if your children can't earn their income, they have lost their jobs, what meaning are you bringing to their lives? This untold hardship must stop. And whoever has listened, have a heart, and be fair to these engagements. Our demand is simple. Implement the memorandum of understanding that was signed by no less a person than the minister, honorable minister of state at the Ministry of Finance, under the auspices and under the directive of the Minister of Finance himself for the government of Ghana. Honor your word.
Why don't you go to the courts, Senyio?
Sandra, it is an option. That is an option of extreme last resort. We should be engaging, advocating to actually have more expedited resolutions, because I think we are all reasonable. Somehow in the country today, there's too much pressure on government. Focus and attention is lost on things that matter. And somehow the only way to get them to even remember that your case is still outstanding is to actually now have to advocate publicly. And that's sorry. That's actually unfortunate. We have made so much progress, not by going to court, but by engaging and judging. And we intend to still do that. But we can't do that this way. And that's why we are now having to adopt this particular option, so that the reality, the suffering, the pain that people are going through will be brought straight in the face of the people who have to take the action, the policymakers, the Minister of Finance, and his leadership. They should see how people are really suffering, how persons with disability are struggling. People have invested their whole life savings over 10 years, 15 years. So today, now that they are jobless, they can have a meaning to life. And you forget it overnight. We've made so many concessions, Sandra, so many concessions. But what in return? And this is just processing an agreement and implementing the agreement you yourself executed and developed together with us. It's not a one-way street. It's been a cooperative street. Let's give the cooperation right.
Thank you, Senyio.
And bring back hope and meaning to people's lives.
Thank you. We'll be at your picketing on 6th July. Thank you for speaking to us.